Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. Aquadam.net. Give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, having to deal with the insurance company, not to mention the memories that are lost that you can never replace. To those who live in flood-prone and hurricane-prone areas, which is just around the corner, prepare now. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Visit Aquadam.net to see how they can help you prepare to avoid flood damage this season and every season thereafter. An Aquadam could be another tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. A cofferdam, using water to control water, that can protect your home, your business, your church, your neighborhood, like a dam, but without the beavers. Give Aquadam a call at 707-764-2119, 707-764-2119, or look them up online at aquadam.net. They're also on Facebook at Aquadam Inc., or call or email them today. They can help you out. Give them a call. Tell them Opperman Report sent you. Opperman Report, that's 10% off the price to anyone who mentions the Opperman Report.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Go. Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You could find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting, either through my website, emailrevealer.com, or you can just email me directly at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show today, be sure and check out our Patreon. We just set up a brand new Patreon. It's only a few months old. And we put up 8 hours of brand new content there every month. And we schedule it out like each evening. So you get new content each evening, Monday to Friday, at our Patreon. But, of course, our archives are free. You can always find our archives for free at Spreaker.com. You go there, you sign up for free, and there's a chat room, and you get an email notification anytime we put up new content. Now, our guest today is an old friend of mine from Facebook. We've been friends for years and years and years. First time we've ever spoken was today, though. Polly Franks. She co-wrote a book with Ted Schwartz called Devil at My Door. Fascinating story. It gets into Polly's life as a thalidomide baby in a wheelchair with crutches, and then how she hunted down and brought justice to Joseph Frank Smith, who was a prolific serial rapist. And they actually tried to use chemical castration on this guy, and even that didn't work. He still went on to offend. Her book is called Devil at My Door. You could find it at Amazon.com. Polly Franks. Polly Franks, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Polly. Tell us about yourself. Who is Polly Franks?
Well, I guess like anyone else, I'm a lot of different things. I'm a mother, grandmother. I have a license to be a private investigator. I'm an author, and I'm a survivor of a rather bizarre, extremely stressful situation, like so many people have gone through and are going through right now. But I wrote the book basically because it's just got a message and it's got information that will help people and help them be proactive in their lives. I realize right now we're dealing with a different world because of the whole pandemic, and a lot of people are staying in. But good news is it's not going to be that way forever. But we're going to be back out in the world, and we're going to need to deal with, find out who our neighbors are, find out what we're dealing with, find out who lives in our children's schools. It's very important because this information was not available to me before this situation happened with my family. This was prior to the passing of the Vegas law, and we had no way of knowing. So that's what I want to do, is give a cautionary tale to people. Just so it's so much better to learn if you have a predator this way than the way I had to learn.
Well, why don't we start out with this? Why don't you tell us, how did you come into contact with this predator?
Well, his daughter and my daughter had the same first grade class, and they became fast friends, and he lived in my neighborhood. And so, like a lot of parents, that's how we got to know each other, through birthday parties and sleepovers and that kind of thing. His wife was a registered nurse, so that made me feel more comfortable with my children being there. And he seemed like just a very polite, very mild-mannered neighbor and friend, was always very pleasant. If anything, came across, to be honest with you, came across as kind of a wimp, and kind of just very docile, and which is terrifying. You later on find out exactly what he really is. And it was a huge lesson in people not being what they come across as, what they present themselves as being.
And when did you first come to suspect that he was up to no good?
Well, we had a problem in the neighborhood for quite some time. People were complaining. There were rumors going around, and this is before Facebook and all of this. But the grapevine in the neighborhood was that there were break-ins, there were some rapes, there was some molestation of children, there were prowlers, and so I live in Richmond, Virginia, and so Richmond's a big city, and sometimes that kind of thing happens, but it seemed to be concentrated within a mile of where we lived. And, of course, that kind of thing is scary. And I often ask people, what's more frightening than having a predator in your neighborhood and stalking your family and friends? And the answer is finding out that you've known him all along. Finding out that this was somebody who had been in my home, who knew the layout of my house, who knew my children's bus number. This was I can't even put it in words, just how flooring it was, how devastating it was to find out that this friend really was a monster. And the more I dug into it, the worse it got. But for several years, he was attended PTA meetings and school plays and just seemed to be this loving father.
And then how did it come first to your attention that he was up to no good?
Well, my one night we had someone try to break into my oldest daughter's bedroom, and we didn't know who it was. And then a few weeks after that, my children spent the night at his house, which they had done many times, and his daughter used to spend the night over at our house. And his wife, woke up in the middle of the night and caught him doing something that I won't be explicit about right now. But my daughters were 8 and 9 and were sleeping on the floor with his daughter. And it clearly showed what type of individual he was. There was a big, ugly scene, screaming match. She throws him out of the house, and the next Monday morning files for divorce. We find out 3 days later what had happened. And ironically, my kids didn't know exactly what had gone on. They had just been awakened to hear the wife screaming and cursing at the husband. And this man's daughter, had asked my children not to say anything because she was just embarrassed that her parents had had a knockdown, drag-out fight in front of her friend, in front of her friends. And so that's why they didn't say anything. But we didn't know anything for a few days, what exactly had happened. And when she had to come over and tell us because she had filed for divorce, and the attorney, being an officer of the court, says you have to tell these parents. And so when we find out, it was just flooring. It went against everything we knew about him. But he had been trying to molest my children, who were ages 8 and 9, who thankfully were asleep. But at 8 and 9, my kids didn't even know what sex was, and they're not supposed to know.
Now, a couple of questions for you. Now, was he molesting his own daughter?
I would bet money on it. There was never any charges with that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would bet everything on it, just given the way she reacted later, and he had 2 daughters actually. So yes, I would say so. And it was rumored that he had also molested his sister, but I mean I don't know that for a fact.
Now, you've been working on these issues for a long, long time. You have a lot of experience in this. You've seen a lot of cases come and go. Has it been your experience that the wife of an offender like this would react in such a way when she found out, or do you think it's more common that they look the other way and they pretend they don't see anything?
Well, I don't know. I've seen so many cases where the parents, of course, or the other parent, looks the other way because they don't want to open that whole can of worms, and it's easier to not believe the child and to call the kid a liar. I have seen that more times than I can tell you. In this particular case, as far as I was concerned, she had acted appropriately, thrown him out of the house, showed the proper amount of rage. But I learned years later that she had been his nurse at a sex offender treatment facility. So she knew, before she even married him, that this was what he was. So apparently she'd been looking the other way for quite some time.
Yeah, that's been my experience, that the family members and the spouse, and sometimes even the employers, friends, co-workers are aware of what's going on with these characters, and they're looking the other way or they're involved themselves. So I was shocked to hear about this divorce.
Right. It's so much easier to assume the kid is a liar. Yeah. I tell people, listen to your kids, believe them, and up to a certain age, they shouldn't even know about sexual matters. So if they know, you need to find out why.
That's so true. But nowadays, with the internet, it just pops up on your screen. No matter what, it's just so prevalent with kids on computers and their cell phones these days. And even mainstream movies and mainstream TV shows. It's not like when you and I were kids, Polly. That's for sure.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's a whole other world, man, going on out there. So now,
sure.
When his wife goes to divorce him and they're starting to make official reports he was previously a sex offender, how did he become brought to justice?
It took 3 years. He was charged with the incident with my children, but they settled. They gave him a suspended sentence, which I'm sure I don't have to tell you, for a hardcore